Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video we are going to be comparing Hostinger and Fozzy to help you decide which of these is the best game server host. We will be taking a deep dive into both of these game server hosts, taking a look at the price, the features, the customer reviews, how they compare to each other, the pros and cons, and everything else that you need to know when making a decision. If you want to claim the best deals and discounts with both of these server providers, like this 80% off on Hostinger, which gives you a huge discount as you can see right here, I will leave the best deals and discount links in the description of this video. So to jump right into this, the first thing to touch on is the amount of games that both of these server providers offer, because Hostinger offers a lot more games that you can actually host a server on. With Fozzy, we don't have a huge selection, but we do have all of the big main games that people will be looking to host. So we can see on the left-hand side, we can host Counter-Strike 2, Ark, Arma, Minecraft, 7 Days to Die, Valheim, Rust, and Team Fortress 2. So these are all of the games that are available on Fozzy. With Hostinger, we have a lot more games, but the way that we set these up, if this is a smaller game, is going to be a little bit different. So this right here is the main server panel on Hostinger. This page right here, and once again, I'll leave a link to all of these so that you can get to them easier in the description. This right here is going to allow you to install pretty much any game, even the smaller ones. So if I go over here, what game servers are supported on Game VPS panel, this is on Hostinger. So once again, I will leave a link to this. You'll want to check this out and make sure that the game you are looking to host is actually on here. But as you can see, there's just so many more games that we can get access to on Hostinger. The thing about these is for some of these smaller games, they won't necessarily have a page that you can go to that will come pre-installed with that game. So as an example, big games like Minecraft and Ark, Hostinger have a specific page for this. So as you can see with Hostinger here, this is specifically for Minecraft. So we would go through, we can purchase our hosting right here, and this is a dedicated server specifically for Minecraft. Once again, we have this with Ark, which is another big game. And what I will actually do to make this much easier for you is I will make like a link tree. I'll make a specific page with all of the different links in. And then this will have all of the big games. So like Hostinger, Ark, where you can actually go straight to the page right here. And you can get a server specifically for that game. Now, if you have one of these smaller games, and for example, Black Mesa, I don't think they have a specific page for this, which they don't, right? So in this situation with the smaller game, what you would have to do is this will be titled on the page that I create. This will just be called Other Games. It will take you to this page right here. And in this, what you will essentially have to do is install this yourself onto the server. Now, this is not necessarily hard. It's actually pretty easy to do. And Hostinger actually have a specific article for this. Once again, I will leave this down in the description, which shows you how to actually install these games onto your Hostinger server. So this is more for the smaller games where you have to install these yourself. That's how you go about doing that. But overall, this is all basically to say that Fozzy only offer these big games right here, whereas Hostinger, you have a bigger selection, but you have to install them yourself if it's more of a niche game. Now, when it comes to pricing between these game server hosts, the main thing that is going to dictate the price is the amount of RAM that you need for your server. This is the most important thing, right? And the amount of RAM that you need is really going to depend on many different factors, like the game that you are playing, the amount of people that you want to have on your server, the amount of mods that you have. For example, just to show you the difference between this, Minecraft is a pretty light game, so you can get away with starting between like 2 to 4 gigabytes of RAM, whereas Palworld is a lot more resource intensive, so you need like 8 gigabytes of RAM just to play Palworld. So going into the price with these, let's start out with Fozzy right here, and we can click into Minecraft. And we have two different pricing plans for Minecraft. What I will say here is for pretty much every game, Hostinger is going to be a lot cheaper. So if we click into Fozzy right here, and we go for Minecraft, the way that they play this, and I don't like when companies do this, is they say you can have a certain amount of slots, which means you can have a certain amount of people connected to your server. So with Iron right here, they allow you to connect 10 people. With Gold, they allow you to connect 40. The thing about this, if we go into Iron right here with 10, this looks pretty cool, right? If you weren't watching this video and you didn't really know how this works, you might just go ahead and buy this and assume that you can have 10 players on your server. But if we click into add extras, this only comes with 2 gigabytes of RAM. With Minecraft, there's just no way that you are able to host 10 players on a server with 2 gigabytes of RAM. Here are some recommended requirements for Minecraft, and you can see that if you want 10 players on your server, you're going to be looking at 4 gigabytes of RAM. And this is like the top end. This is kind of pushing the limits of a 4 gigabyte of RAM server. So let's say we want to go in and we do want a 4 gigabyte of RAM server. We can add an extra 2 gigabytes right here, but this is an additional $12.80. So we can add that extra 2 gigabytes of RAM. So we now have 4 gigabytes of RAM. And this is going to be $20.78 per month. Whereas on Hostinger, if we go down right here to the 4 gigabytes of RAM, we can see that this is going to be a lot cheaper. Something else that I will add in terms of the price with Hostinger is they give heavy incentives for signing up for either 1 or 2 years. So if we go into choose plan, by default, this will be 24 months. And we can see that we basically pay this upfront. So we buy the server for a full 2 years. We pay this upfront. And we get the average price of $4.99 per month. Then after these 2 years, when this expires, when we've had this for 2 years, we then go to monthly pricing and we would pay $9 per month. Whereas if we go to monthly, we can see that the average price is going to go up because we paid this monthly. We get a discount in the first month, and then every month after that, it's going to be $14 per month. So the same 4 gigabytes, let's just say we don't want to buy this for 1 to 2 years, we just want to pay monthly. The price for Hostinger is $14 per month, which is still a lot cheaper for the same 4 gigabytes than $21 is going to be on Fozzy. Now, this is going to be the exact same for pretty much every single game that we see in here. If I just pull up Hostinger and we go for Ark, as you can see with Ark, we have less options because we need to have more RAM. It's a more resource intensive game. But these are the prices for Ark. And then if we once again go over to Fozzy right here and click into Ark, it can look like it's going to be cheaper at first glance. But if we actually click in and go to add extras, the amount of RAM that we get, like 2 gigabytes of RAM for Ark, you can't even run the game on 2 gigabytes of RAM. Never mind actually have people connected to the server. So we're going to actually have to go up if we click into add extras right here on this one. Once again, 4 gigabytes of RAM. You're not really going to be able to run a game on this. If I just Google how much RAM for an Ark server, we can see the minimum recommended RAM, and this is going to be for a small server, of course, is 8 gigabytes of RAM. So if we go back to Fozzy, I actually kind of think that they shouldn't be selling this. Like, why would you sell a 2 gigabyte of RAM server when you literally can't play the game? But we can go into one of these and we can click add more. Let's add an extra 4 gigabytes of RAM so that this is actually up to speed. And look at the price, $75 per month. This is pretty crazy. Whereas if we go to Hostinger right here and we go to choose a plan, even if we want to pay for this monthly, this is going to be much cheaper, which is $40 per month right here. But of course, if we go for like the 24-month plan, you can see we get a huge discount at $10.50 per month. And then even when this switches to monthly after these 2 years are up, it's still a lot cheaper at only $27 per month. So you can check this yourself with every single game. Hostinger is going to be a lot cheaper. And Fozzy, even compared to other game server providers out there, is very, very expensive. In terms of the features that we get with these, pretty much every game server provider is the same. They are all going to have the same features because all of these are necessary. So these are going to be things like full mod support. Of course, we need this for mods. Full root access, which allows you to get into the files and delete mods, add mods, things like that. DDoS protection is absolutely essential. This prevents hackers getting in and taking your server down. And then backups as well so that you can back up your saves. Both of these have these. There's not really anything in terms of the features that Fozzy have that Hostinger doesn't. And the same the other way. There's nothing that Hostinger has in terms of features that Fozzy doesn't. Here's another thing though. Kind of going back to the price. Hostinger has a 30-day money-back guarantee. This is really, really fantastic. With Fozzy, this is 14 days, so this is actually still fantastic. This is a lot better than other game server providers, but 14 days compared to 30 days, Hostinger just give you more time to play with your server, test this out and see if you like it. And then if for whatever reason you don't, you can get your money back. The last thing that we are going to be taking a look at is of course the reviews for both of these. So if we pull up Fozzy right here, we can see this is a much smaller company. So absolutely fantastic reviews, 4.8 stars, but they only have 789 reviews. Whereas if we go to Hostinger right here, Hostinger is a much bigger company, 41,000 reviews, and once again 4.7 stars, absolutely fantastic. So that is something to keep in mind as well, that Fozzy is a much smaller company compared to Hostinger. So in terms of reliability, Hostinger is going to be more reliable just because they have more people, they have more server uptime, and they are just a much bigger company. So that is my comparison on Fozzy versus Hostinger. Of these two, which would I go for? I would absolutely go for Hostinger because of the much cheaper prices. They are a much bigger company and they are more reliable because of this. And you also have the option to save a lot of money if you want to pay for 1 to 2 years upfront if you are going to have your server for a long time. So if you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.